Honestly, and I'm probably going to get eaten alive for saying this, I feel like a lot of women have forgotten their place. And we live in this inverted world. And I feel we got stuck in this whole feminism thing. Feminism is a scam. And now it's like trying to undo. It is. Feminism, I don't care what anybody says. Yes, we are equal in value, but we are not equal in traits. We are different. Men and women are different.
I agree with that.
And I'm so sick and tired of why are we fighting to be something that we're not? I am not a man. I will never be a man. And for those of you that make,
and I'm not a woman, I'll never be a woman.
Period. But there are certain things that are just, y'all are stronger than we are. We are more detail oriented than you are. There are certain traits that we naturally got from God based on the gender that we are. And it's all based on survival. It's all based on human nature. And so I feel like a lot of women, not all women, but most women have forgotten their place.
Within themselves,
within the order of family, within the order, even like with God. You know, if you just want to start blanketing statements, like, now this is the thing. If you are a masculine woman, that's fine. But stop acting like you're feminine. If you want to be a boss, babe, I don't need no man. You go do you, boo. But stop teaching that that's the answer. Because I'm sick and tired of this divide of the family. I'm sick and tired of now good men, like, and I'm listening to like stories, right? Good men are getting lazy in dating. They're getting lazy in the pursuit because women are making either everything too easy or they're too hands off. So now what's the point in even trying to date a woman when you're the man that you want me to be?
Feminism is a scam. It was sold to women as it would make them happier. But what they're seeing is, hey, if I sacrifice my entire life to go focus on my professional career, it actually doesn't make me happier. I become more depressed and anxious and there's more stress in life versus the original plan. The way God designed it was the husband is the head of the household and the woman is coming up under him and she gets to take care of the family and she can have a professional career too, which is fantastic, but it's not her primary aim. Her primary aim is not. And so what we have many women that are dissatisfied with their life. Imagine being a 50-year-old woman with no kids, but you have a bunch of money. You have no family, but you are wealthy. You've worked your way up the social professional hierarchy. And so I think women are realizing that they want to come back home. They still want to work 100%, but they want their family to be the priority, not their professional career.
Yeah, and also women are very short-term thinkers. They're not long-term thinkers. So when you try to open their eyes to this knowledge and let them know that like prioritizing a degree, a job, and having fun are all going to be regrets that you have in the future, because they don't understand that the life that you enjoy and love so much now, you only have because you're young and pretty. And once that fades away, that life is no longer enjoyable. And I already know people are going to hear this and be like, oh, that's misogynistic. But you got to think about the bigger picture. Why is their life so enjoyable and fun and full of opportunities and experiences? Because it's men who are giving these out. Going on yachts, getting free drinks, VIP sections, free flights, free experiences. All of this stuff is given by men. And most of the time, they're giving you these things because they have an ulterior motive. They want to sleep with you. Why? Because you are young and attractive. But once that youth and beauty fades, so do the opportunities and experiences. And that's what they mean by feminism is a scam. It depicts the prosperity of the present and the past, but it does not depict the future, which is inevitably to come, whether they like it or not. And it's gonna get to a point where we have a middle-aged woman crisis because they listened to feminism and spent their lives chasing a degree and having fun as opposed to finding a man to lock them down. And unfortunately, the most desired men aren't the men who want used up old masculine women. Not to mention their time is finite. Like, you know, I'd understand if they were built like men and their life didn't start until they were older, but unfortunately that's not the case. Once you're out of high school, your expected contribution to society starts right after high school. And then from there you have roughly 12 to 13 years to find a man of the quality that you want. Because why? Let's tie it back together. Because the most desirable men don't want old, used up, masculine women. Unfortunately, they're going to have to learn that the hard way, and I cannot wait.
You've heard Alex Jones talk about some chemical that makes the frogs gay. Raise your hand. Turns out he wasn't wrong. When frogs were exposed to atrazine, some were chemically castrated and feminized. Genetic males developed female reproductive organs, and some even produced viable eggs. What is less known is this. Human exposure to atrazine in the womb is linked to genital malformations in men. Like when the pee hole isn't in the right place on the pee, and it even could be contributing to shrinking penis sizes. I am talking about micro becoming increasingly common. Despite this, atrazine, the micro chemical is present in the drinking water of 40 million Americans. Europe banned it. We didn't. Talk about a war on masculinity.
Yeah, and it also gets worse when you drink out of a water bottle that's been sitting in a hot car. Plastic water bottles also are very convenient, so I wouldn't be surprised if the average American that heard this would give a fuck.
The dots on this screen represent an adult life in months, assuming a life expectancy of 90. So if you're 18 years old right now, this is an optimistic estimate of the months that you have left. Take a second to take that in. Probably not as many as you would expect. And I'm sorry to say that it does get worse, because about a third of that time is going to be spent sleeping. On average, 126 of those months will go to school and your career. About 18 will be spent driving, 36 cooking and eating, 36 doing chores and errands, and about 27 in the bathroom and taking care of personal hygiene. So that leaves you with 334 months. This is where you pursue your passions and travel the world and leave your mark. How you spend this time is going to determine the quality of your life. So take a second and ask yourself, what do you want to do with that free time? Now, I would be willing to bet that scrolling through TikTok, binge watching Netflix, and playing video games probably did not come to mind. But today, the average 18-year-old in the United States is on pace to spend 93% of their remaining free time looking at a screen. Imagine getting to the age of 90, seeing this visualization of how you spent all your time after the age of 18, and thinking about all the things you could have done that you did not do because you got distracted.
Same thing as the last clip, screens are very convenient, and the magnitude of this video seems like it hits harder than the other one, but the truth is they're both equally as bad. One just affects your life, while the other one harms your genetic offspring. And most Americans after watching this video are still not going to change.
So the internet is freaking out right now because Millie Bobby Brown decided to legally change her last name since getting married to Jake Bon Jovi. And the reactions from women tells you everything you need to know about modern feminism. Take this clip for example.
Feel a way about women who have made a really strong career for themselves off of their own name, getting rid of their name and taking the name of a man. It's like we're getting into weird trad wifey territory. He talks a lot about like living on that farm with cooking dinner for her husband.
Getting married at like 19, 20 and now living on a farm feels very 1800s to me.
Very 1800.
Imagine how bitter of a woman you have to be to make fun of somebody who gets married young, adopts a child in need, and cares for her husband. First of all, let's remember that your maiden name is your father's name, so let's not pretend that keeping your middle name is this feminist boss babe move, because either way, you're under a man's name. But seeing women criticize another woman for choosing her husband's last name rather than celebrating it shows that they don't actually care about choice. They're simply anti-man, anti-marriage, and anti-motherhood. Feminists continually deny the biological reality that women want to get married and have children, but when women don't get that, whether because they wasted their prime years on climbing the corporate ladder, or they slept around and realized no high-quality man wants to be with a woman who gave her whole self to the world. When these women are still single by their 30s and 40s, they start shaming the women who chose to get married young and chose to pursue motherhood as if they were oppressed by the patriarchy or stuck in the 1950s. And what blows my mind is feminists still don't understand, because of their idolatry of money and independence, is that women's success is not defined by her career or lack thereof. Meaning men don't choose a wife based off her titles or degrees or follower counts. In fact, they could care less. A man chooses to marry the woman with noble character, one who loves and respects him, and one who brings peace into his life. That's what a man values, not this boss babe energy. So Millie, or any woman who chooses to change her last name out of respect and love for her husband, isn't diminishing herself or her value. It actually adds to it. These reactions from feminists prove once again that they don't actually care about choice. They simply want to live in a society where women rule and men are pushed out because they don't need a man. And yet they wonder why women are more depressed and suicidal than ever before.
That's like me bragging to a woman saying that I have an extensive shoe collection. Would she be impressed? No. But why wouldn't she be impressed? I got the Kobe's, the Jordans, the LeBrons, all different colors, styles and some of them are vintage. But she's not impressed and doesn't care because it doesn't benefit her. Just like her telling us about how independent she is, how she has a great paying job, a lot of money, and a master's degree. That doesn't benefit us, so we don't care. Oh, but Temp, how does her having a lot of money not benefit us? That's a double income household. Well, one, you wouldn't be her serious suitor in the first place if you weren't making as much or more than her. That's one. Two, women are not like men. They don't want to share their resources. They would rather extract yours while using whatever they have for their own sake. When men come into a lot of money, they think, I can finally provide for a family. When women get into a lot of money, they think, I'm independent, I don't need a man. We are not the same.
We need to take away bitches' rights. Fuck all you bitches. If there's one creature on this planet that's more retarded than a rock, then it's these fat, good-for-nothing bitches. When you see a bitch driving down the highway, just know she gonna ignore all the traffic lights and crash and hit a nigga. Think about it. A hoe don't even know if she wants Starbucks or a stupid-ass matcha drink from God knows where. What makes you think she can handle the wheel behind a car? She's indecisive and slow. So what that means is, she's gonna not pay attention or have the proper human reaction time a guy would have to operate that damn fucking car and not crash. God damn it, you guys be fucking shit up. And you guys also have such bullshit-ass phases called a period. You guys would probably use such an excuse like, oh my God, I cramped up for my period, that's why I crashed. No, 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 you stupid bitch. You listen here, you just stupid as fuck and just can't drive. Girls will go off emotions than simple logic. A bitch will vote for Kamala Harris thinking that's the right choice because she want to give 3 gender bathrooms or more freedom for women when realistically the bitch won't do anything for us but be a woman. That's why girls voted for her, because she's a woman, and bitches go off emotions than logic. Like, who gives a fuck about equal pay for a woman? Just cut that shit in half already. Fuck them. It's just the truth.
I am so sorry. I did not know that. It just started randomly. How would you even have that? Was it music? No, it was like they was talking. They were cussing. It was a bunch.
They were talking about something about bitches' rights getting taken away or something like that.
I personally fuck with this video. I just wish that the demographic of the people he was talking about were in the restaurant. But hey, I'm pretty sure I saw some old heads agreeing. They was nodding their heads and shit.
What type of girl are you looking for?
I'm looking for a submissive, godly, vaccinated one.
What?
Unvaccinated.
No, the first word.
Submissive.
Oh, submissive.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Be submissive is to put yourself under the authority of your husband. Biblical is also responsibility on the male side for that. It calls a wife to submit to her husband and a husband to die to himself for his wife.
So you're not into boss babes?
No, I don't think that works.
Why?
Because I think it's against men's nature.
To be like confident and bossy?
No, not confident. I think that confidence for a woman is great. I just think that bossing a man around is outside of women's nature. Boss babes, women that do not want to submit to male authority in their life, whether that's your father, your pastor, or your husband. I think that just leads to problems. And I think if you look around the world today, you see everywhere where a lot of women live. So you get to do whatever they want to do.
You got a girl pregnant when you married her?
I wouldn't be successful before I married.
Oh, so you're waiting till marriage to have?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So you're very conservative. You don't like liberals?
I would say I'm more Christian. I think that aligns more with conservative values. But I'm not a fan of liberals. I think that it's an ugly ideology.
So you think liberals are unhappy?
I do think they're unhappy. I think it's a really self-defeating philosophy that encourages a victim mindset, and I wish that people wouldn't buy into it, but I get the allure. Being a victim feels good.
So Hollywood is, you want to stay away from Hollywood?
Yeah, I want to live in the middle of nowhere on a farm.
How about the gender roles? Lately, the gender roles have been switched.
I don't think they've been switched. I just think they've been kind of subverted. I don't think that you can really switch them. I think you can fight against them.
Okay.
It's really sad because when people aren't within the way God designed them to be, they're not going to be as effective as they could or should be in who they're made to be.
Where'd you get your values from, Dad?
Not the Bible.
Do you believe in pro-choice?
No, I think that's murder.
So you don't believe women has their own rights to their body?
They have their rights to their own body, but that's not their body. I mean, that's a completely separate entity. In California, if you shoot a pregnant woman, you get charged with double murder. I would say that it's not a law.
I'm not religious by any means, but the word of the Bible is exactly what a majority of men value out of a relationship with a woman. A woman is supposed to be a man's piece. A man is supposed to die for his woman. Like, we serve and protect our women regardless of how we feel. We always uphold our duty in a relationship. And we have to, rightly so, or our woman will leave us. And this is the only time I'll agree with women, but be a fucking man. Do what you're supposed to do. Protect, serve, and provide for your woman. Because if you don't, then you're a bitch. But the difference is, us as men, we already know this inherently. But why is it when we expect the same out of our woman, it's considered misogynistic or oppression? And you know, it's one thing to know what the word means and not adhere to it, but she didn't even know what submissive meant. On top of that, he brought up a good point about the double murder, because women conveniently don't consider their babies human when they're doing abortions, but the baby absolutely is human in the death of a pregnant woman. It's funny because you never see women rallying about that law, yet all the pro-choice women are so set on screaming at the top of their lungs that a baby in a womb is not a human.
Everyone who ate breakfast this morning needs to hear this. Eating 3 meals a day was created by the Rockefeller Foundation. Our ancestors didn't eat 3 times a day. If they ate 3 times a week, that was a lot. Your body is meant to be in a fasted state. Why do you heal when you sleep? Because you're fasted. Your body is able to take the energy that it normally would use, breaking down and digesting food, and instead it's putting it towards healing and feeling sick. Don't go to the white coat who has no idea what he's talking about. Throw a 36-hour fast at it. Stem cells are activated. They go to the area of injury. They go to the areas that need healing. Your body thrives in a fasted state. Don't buy into the 3 meals a day. It was created to keep you fat, lazy, and reliant on the Rockefeller food system. Never should obesity be installed.
The government has no use for people who are smart. That's why social media has become so addictive. Like, that's not by accident. Social media is purposefully addictive and it's making you dumb. Anti-intellectualism is not something that happened by accident. It's an agenda. Like, capitalism has no use for a smart people. So now we are in a period where you have to actually involve yourself in extracurricular activities that tune up your brain and keep you smart. When 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, people literally used to pick up a book when they were bored. They used to go to the library when they were bored. They used to go on walks and craft and things like that. They used to create when they were bored. These are all things that are good for your brain's health. This is good for your cognitive health. And now we have to actually force ourselves to do those things, because we're in a period where the government wants us to be addicted to them damn phones. And I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's not a theory, it's the truth.
You can tell it's a good message, but this messenger unfortunately has already been affected by this epidemic. But she's right, capitalism doesn't have a need for a smart people.
If I were to rank myself strictly physical on a scale of 1 to 10, you know what number I give myself?
A 6. Yes.
A 6. I'm a strong 6. Now, if you start adding in I'm nurturing, or I make a lot of money, or all, like, my number might start to go up. But strictly aesthetic, I mean, because I can't use 7, right? 10s don't exist. Okay.
What?
So you got to take 10 off the scale. So you got to take 7 off the scale. It's a 6, an 8, or a 9.
Why are we taking 7s off to break it down to me?
Because everyone will automatically say 7. Yeah. Like, how would you rank yourself on a scale? Oh, I'm a 7, because that's easy. But if you can't use 7, you got to push it to, like, you're in the top percentile, or you with everybody else. You know, I have been around the world. Yeah. And I have seen women far more beautiful than me. So it's a damn good thing that there are other qualities and attributes that can level out the playing field. Because if it's just solely based on beauty, most of us are not the exception. I'm not the exception. Let me also say this. I don't feel like I'm an ugly woman. So I don't want anyone to hear me saying like, oh, I'm a 6 and that means I don't think I'm a very confident woman inside of myself. I love 6 is above average.
Sarah, I will straight up tell you look, I'm like, okay, girl, your booty is. She's like, girl, you're being nice.
You are.
I'll be like, come on.
But she's a girl's girl.
I don't know, Sarah. I feel like you capping.
I'm not capping.
Okay.
You've never seen a woman more beautiful than me.
I didn't say. Come on, Sarah.
6
I'm your
is above
friend.
average.
Sarah, 6 is kind of crazy. As your friend, I wouldn't even. But
Anissa,
out here,
you want to know what you're being right now?
I'm your friend.
A girl's girl.
No, the hell I'm not.
Yes,
Sarah,
you are. You're being a girl's girl.
No,
I'm being honest. You are being that's what girls do. They lie to each other.
It's always nice when a woman with some type of influence or pull calls out women about their fuckery, because women aren't going to listen to men. Their ego is just too high. On top of that, women are covert competitioners. That means that they compete, but they compete under the radar, so you can't tell that they're competing with you. They utilize deception instead of merit. And one example of this is they will tell a woman, oh girl, you're a 10, when the woman is obviously obese and ugly and probably a 4 on a good day. They'll lead that woman astray while ascending themselves. They will gladly tell their friend that they are a 10 and they don't need to work out, they need to love their body how it is, while she's working out behind the scenes, going to the gym every day, hitting all these different splits, finding what the best meal plan is to keep her stomach flat. And this will come from the same girls that have been friends for years.
Now they're after the fish, you guys. I swear we can't have nothing. If you are a fish eater, you better watch this.
They are literally vaccinating the fish you eat for dinner.
For the first time in history, we are genetically altering fish after a government-approved process shows salmon and sea bass vaccinated at 18,000 fish per hour.
This fish hits you with 11 chemical pesticides. It starts as genetically altered stock, dumped into a sedative bath, and injected with a petrochemical lubricant, spreading cancer-linked lumps directly into the flesh. What they don't tell you is that flesh is chemically dyed and raised on a preservative banned in human food, leaching residue into the final product. And it's not only salmon, trout, cod, and sea bass, all scanned for this.
They are coming after the food supply because that's how they're coming after us. Fake milk, fake meat, fake eggs, fake everything. Everything is made in a lab. It's all ultra processed, all genetically modified. If you guys have not found local farmers, I am telling you, you will regret that you didn't do it sooner. The quality of food, the reassurance, knowing that what you're feeding yourself and your family is real food, not genetically modified, vaccinated, or fake food. Food is either going to make us sick or it's going to keep us healthy.
Nothing confuses my wife more than when I get home from a guy's night and she says, "So what'd you guys talk about?" And my answer is, "I don't know, nothing." What do you mean nothing? I don't mean nothing happened. I just mean that the night went perfectly. Like, let me speak for men for a second, because when we hang out, like, there's no agenda. There's no emotional download. We're just present. Like, you want me to tell you that we spent 45 minutes debating whether LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan all time? Or that we argued over whether one of us could rush for 1 yard in an NFL football game? We couldn't, by the way. Or do you want me to tell you that we told the same stories we've heard 150 different times with the same jokes, same punchlines, and we laughed just as hard as the first time we heard it? Like, that's it. That's the night. Maybe there's a game on, maybe there's a dartboard, but to us, like, that's elite bonding. You know, there's no pressure. No one's solving anything. There's no unpacking. It's just some guys, a couple beers, and like arguing about hypotheticals. And like somehow it's refreshing. So when we say, "I don't know," what we really mean is like, we talked about nothing and it was perfect.
I hope a lot of women saw this clip, because any woman that I've ever talked to about this that I was somewhat close with, whether it was a relative or a girlfriend, it always go like, "How'd it go?" "Oh, went good." "So what you guys talk about?" "Nothing." "What do you mean nothing? How do you guys talk about nothing? That must be so boring." Like, it's just too much to explain, bro. Going forward, I'm gonna just send them this clip.
What's your biggest financial flex?
My last name.
What's your last name?
Churchill. My family owns this place.
That's my Bentley Continental GT.
My great-grandfather started a billion-dollar company. It affects over 50% of the human population. We're closing in on a $4 billion transaction.
My dad actually owns one of the largest peanut butter companies in the world. Also have 3 horses in the Kentucky Derby.
I bought 1,400 shares of Tesla when it IPO'd, and I'll leave it at that. Diamond studded. The match chain and bracelet, 180. I won't have to work until ever. I'm set for life. My dad put $1 million into Tesla when I was young.
How much is it worth now?
Around 50 million.
Great-grandfather started Delaware Telephone Company and eventually became Verizon. I still have the stock in Verizon.
I grew up in Brazil. Neymar was actually my neighbor. I have multiple million-dollar mansions in Alaska.
Why Alaska?
It's the last frontier. I own one of the most prestigious golf courses in the United States. It's $1 million initiation fee. It's Blue Cut National. Dad has a Gulfstream 700. It's like 70 mil. My grandparents are from the slums of India. Now I go to the best engineering college in the country. My dad, he built money out of nothing. I wouldn't be shit without my dad. They made 30 plus family members reach financial freedom.
This video exposed the biggest lies that modern culture tells people. If you notice, every flex came from a father, grandfather, or family structure. And it's because there is no wealth without family structure. Modern culture really wants you to believe that you could do everything on your own, that you don't need a family, that you could delay children. You just need to focus on yourself and somehow you'll be able to build wealth. And that's one of the biggest lies most people ever been told. But the reason this lie is so prevalent because the powers that be, they understand that the less families that are being created, the less competition that they have for power. The less family structures being built, the more individual consumers they'll have in the market. The internet keeps selling this hyper-individualistic fantasy where everyone is supposed to move solo and think alone, stand alone, build alone. But no one has ever built wealth that way. If you understand and you research the history of wealth, you'll understand that it's always been about controlling resources, controlling land, and having family structures so you could be self-governed. It was never about these materialistic ideals that we see today where it's all about having the cars, the house, the designer clothes, the jewelry. Now those things can be a byproduct byproduct of wealth, but that is not the core of what wealth is. Real wealth is family structure being built together, investing together, putting each other in position, passing business downs, passing stocks down, passing relationships down, passing the game down. And you cannot do those things if you're not building a family. So many people these days have completely removed themselves from the wealth game simply because they're not doing these things. Excuse my language, but we in a fuck them kids era, without realizing that mindset is just shooting yourself in the foot in the end. That's why I always laugh when people act like family structure and marriage is these old school, outdated concepts. The wealthiest families understand that these concepts are still extremely necessary in order to build wealth. Because while the average person today is being taught to move like an individual, wealthiest families in the world understand that you have to move as a team. So you can chase career, get the nicest cars, get the nicest home, wear the flyest clothes, travel all over the world, but if you're not building family structure, you are not building wealth. You are just renting a lifestyle.
Now, I absolutely believe that he has a point with this, but the part about having a family and bringing families together, that's how you build generational wealth. You know, the whole point of bringing families together was so you could bring your individual wealth and combine it with the other family, the wealth that you already had. Key phrase, already had, meaning you had to have it already. So you had to build it yourself before you can join families. But it was one man's job to go out into the world, make something of himself, and build it up himself, and then have his own family, and then expand your family more. And it's not like you can say, oh, well, you get with the woman and then maybe her dad is wealthy. It doesn't matter because he still had to build that wealth in the first place. And when you look at modern economics, you see that most people can't even afford to take care of themselves, let alone an entire family. So you can't expect men to go out and find a woman when they can't even take care of themselves, because they know that women want to be taken care of and they need to be taken care of. And men know this, meaning so does her dad. And wealth attracts wealth, so that is definitely out of the picture, because you think that her dad, who's worked his ass off to get to where he is gonna let his daughter marry some broke bum? Absolutely not. How do you think they build generational wealth? By getting with other wealthy people. So his message isn't wrong by any means, he just missed a few steps. I had more clips, but this video is getting too long, so